And I knew she was in labor instantly when I looked down the hall and she was leaning against the registration desk of labor and delivery, and she was kind of breathing and moaning and swaying and kind of listening to her body, and her husband was there kind of pacing and, what was going to happen. I think he was extremely nervous because he had only just gotten home like a few days before. So we get it, the nurses get her into the triage area for me to evaluate her, and I come to the door and he's standing right there at the door, almost guarding her, and he said, "No one comes in without reading her birth plan." And I said, "Well, sir, I've already read her birth plan. We reviewed it in clinic." And he said, "So, she doesn't want to be, strapped down with monitors, and she wants to be able to move around. You know that." And I said, "Yes, sir, I know that." So he was, kind of quizzing me. Do I know all the parts of her birth plan? And yes, sir, yes, I know that that's what she, I know that she wants skin to skin and delayed cord clamping. I know she wants to breastfeed right away and for you to cut the cord and, all of this. And he was like, "So wait, you're not going to argue with me?" I said, "Why would I argue with me? We're going to have a birthday, there's no reason to argue with you." And he finally lets me into the room, and she's still bent over the bed and she's breathing, and this is what she says. She goes, "See, I told you you'd like her." And she just keeps breathing. And when we checked her cervix, she was 8 centimeters dilated, and she wanted to labor in our labor tub. So we don't deliver in the water, but we labor. And she was able to meet that goal and labored in the water. And her husband was so happy that her birth plan was fulfilled, that she got all those things. And she did. She got the skin to skin and delayed cord clamping and, had this beautiful birth experience. But, after the fact, I think he, was really appreciative, and he had said that it was healing to go from their first birth, where there was so much struggle with the medical team, to this beautiful birth experience where we just helped to enhance it for them. And I'll never forget them. I talk about that couple quite a bit, and the fact that the patient had a plan and she knew what she wanted for her birth experience, and she felt safe enough to relay that to our team and to us, prenatally, because some facilities, they're not as accepting of birth plans. We have a whole birth plan that we created for the patients that is a fill in the blank, and they can add all the things that they want because we're supportive of that. The fact that her husband, who was separated from her most of her pregnancy, was able to come in and advocate for her and realize that we were already meeting them there. We were right where they needed to be. And so I think he felt then more at ease knowing that she was in good hands, even though he wasn't able to be here and see that was already happening prenatally. And the fact that we were able to meet her goal, her birth goal, and not provide this tense environment where, healthcare providers, nurses were arguing with them or keeping them from what they wanted. It was a beautiful kind of symphony that we all worked together to create this beautiful birth experience and a healthy baby for them. That's what I love about being a midwife and about what we do here, is that there sometimes can be complications. So sometimes the plan doesn't go the way that the patient or spouse were planning, but we try very hard to give them the birth experience they're hoping for, whether that's unmedicated, whether that's with an epidural so they can be as comfortable as possible and not have pain. Even if they, end up with a C-section, we still try to provide that like skin to skin care. I feel like we try really hard to help support this population to get what they need. I talk about our bucket, that we fill our bucket of joy, and I gain that joy back from my patients whenever I see them and I know that they're thriving and doing well, or maybe a particular patient who's not doing well, either, emotionally or physically, and that I'm able to meet their needs through, treatment, whether that's just education and guidance or medication or referral, and then they come back and say, "Hey, that really was helpful and that really worked for me." That's satisfying for me, that I was able to do something and impact somebody's life. But I feel like it happens quite a bit, sometimes even if, I'm having a bad day, and sometimes that happens, everybody has bad days, but I can walk into a room and see a woman and that turns it completely around just by getting to care for them. And so they add to my life even though they may not know that.